Hey Godzilla.
Oh, hey Kong. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too.
What's the matter?
We lost our turkey.
Kong.
What?
Do you mean that turkey over there?
Gobble, 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 gobble. Yeah, that's the one.
When the hell did we get a kangaroo?
I don't know, doesn't Janzilla buy this stuff?
He doesn't buy us. He saves us from terrible toy owners like that kid from Toy Story.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
Do you want a rematch, monkey? What'd you say? Good kangaroo. How's it, Godzilla fans, kaiju fans, collectors, and just general people of YouTube? This is Chanzilla1964 coming back to you with another figure review. This time we are going to be reviewing the Destroy All Monsters Gorosaurus from Bandai Movie Monster Series. Now, before we get into the figure, let's look at the tag. Gorosaurus' tag here has a very nice picture of Gorosaurus on the front, Gorosaurus' name on the bottom. You got all this stuff on the inside with a cool silhouette of Gorosaurus. And then on the back, you just got a silhouette with a little bit of lighting of Gorosaurus' side area. Now on to the figure. Starting off with detail. Detail on this guy is by far the best detailed Gorosaurus figure we have to date. Now the Playmates one is pretty good, gotta admit, but the front view of it from what I've seen is really wonky, and I don't have the figure, but looking at reviews from it and hearing what other people say from it, I am not going to get it because I'll admit it, I am biased. I have a soft spot for Bandai. That's why I got this one over the Playmates one. That and those figures kind of have a really hard time getting to Hawaii, so I haven't seen the Gorosaurus or the Rodan Playmates figure in stores. I've only really seen the Jet Jaguar and the Godzilla Final Wars figure. But enough about that. Detail on this guy. The face over here, which was my main concern for Gorosaurus, looks very nice. You got the tongue thing going on here. Then you have his canines, which finally somebody got his canines right. And then you also have his crest, which is done very, very nicely. And his eye, which was one of the biggest problems for me for the original figure, was how weird his eye looked. But the scaling all throughout Gorosaurus, from his arms, legs, his body, even to the tip of his tail, looks very, very, very nice. And then thankfully Bandai got the spike on the very tip of this tail right. Then looking at Gorosaurus' back, his spines are very nicely done here, going all the way to the tip of the tail. Then you got Gorosaurus' feet spikes over here. His toes are done nicely, with his little wonky, weird, really, really big middle toe and his two little side toes. Then Gorosaurus' fingernails are done very nicely, as well as the detail in the underside of his hands. Speaking of Gorosaurus' underside, Bandai really got this figure right when it comes down to the underside of Gorosaurus, and especially, I guess, the chunkiness that this suit conveyed, because you look at the wrinkles and the folds of Gorosaurus here, and I think this figure captures it very, very, very nicely. Now moving on to the paint department, Gorosaurus has this very, very nice green, forest green paint job going on with him, with little highlights of this green, really bright green accent on his shoulder and his hips. And then the toenails for Gorosaurus are painted very nicely in this really, really nice bone white color. Same thing with his fingernails over here. Same thing with his fingernails over here. But sadly, no toe spikes painted and no back spines painted. Even though I could have done without the back spine, but this is an atrocity. Bandai, you couldn't have painted the tip of his tail, the spike that you guys finally got right on him. Come on. But all that being said, the inside of Gorosaurus' mouth is painted this really nice pink, and then his teeth are painted very nicely painted, very neat in this really, I guess, kind of yellow color, whitish yellow color. And then I've said it once, I'm going to say it again, I really like how Gorosaurus' eyes was painted. This side and this side. Now here's where the other shortfall of the paint department, aside from his spikes on his feet and his tail. We have this really nice sand color going on over here with Gorosaurus' chest. From the chest to the very beginning where the tail begins, and then the insides of the thighs and the arms over here are very nicely painted this brown color. But I mean, man, you couldn't have gone the extra mile or the extra maybe brush of paint and just painted the underside of his tail. I mean, it's a small gripe, granted, but it just would have been like one quick, and I think a lot of people would have been happy with it, honestly. Or even one quick go with the paint gun, and I think a lot of people would have been happy, but I mean, it's a small gripe for what we got right here. Moving on, articulation for this guy. We have 5 points of articulation for Gorosaurus over here, which is the least to say amazing, but sadly also one glue seal. So, Gorosaurus' 2 arms move 360, then his legs move about halfway. They can kick, but they're kind of hindered by this fold, or the belly fold over here. Both legs move that there. And then I was hoping the head would move. Sadly, it doesn't. That's the glue seal. But the tail moves, which is something I don't think a lot of people are expecting, but I mean, yes, we finally got some tail articulation, and thankfully it is for Gorosaurus, which he is known to use his tail to prop up and do his signature move, which I will show in a little bit. Moving on, a size comparison for Gorosaurus. He's a little on the short side, sadly, but I'm still perfectly a-okay with this figure being on the short side, since I know he is definitely shorter than Godzilla and King Ghidorah. But for him to be a little shorter than Kong kind of seems a little off. Even though I have to go rewatch the movie where he first debuted in King Kong Escapes to see if he really was actually shorter than Kong. But that's my only gripe with size. Aside from that, I think he sizes very nicely with Godzilla and King Ghidorah, at least the show figures. Anyways, overall for this Gorosaurus figure, where this figure lacks in the paint department, this figure makes up in not only the detail but also the articulation. The sizing could be better, maybe about a quarter or half an inch taller, but I have no gripes with the sizing because I know Gorosaurus was always one of the smaller monsters of the Godzilla show series. So overall, this figure, for me at least, has, I think it's really good. If you guys have a chance to buy it, whether you do it through Zen Market, or I know Bai.Japan or .jp is another route you can go. But yeah, if you guys have a chance to pick this up, I would definitely recommend you guys pick up this Bandai Movie Monster Series Gorosaurus figure. That'll do it for today's review. Remember, if you like this video, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. And if you like what you see on the channel, do be sure to subscribe. And don't be afraid to leave a comment down below if you want to. With that being said, this has been Chanzilla1964 saying until next time. Peace. So I just wanted to show you how nicely Gorosaurus pairs up with this King Ghidorah figure over here. I'm just going to put Rodan in the background and bring Godzilla in on this. Granted, it's the wrong Godzilla, but that's okay. And I'm also going to bring King Kong in on this as well, just for the heck of it. Put him right there in the background. But this Gorosaurus pairs up so nicely with this King Ghidorah figure that if you put him side by side with the kangaroo kick, it looks like a shot from Shot remake.